Hello, mathematicians. Are you ready for another great day of math? Remember, we've talked about there's numbers all around, and all week we have been practicing ordering numbers and putting numbers in order, which is important to be able to do as a mathematician, and we're building some really great math minds. So if you remember, the first day of math, which was Tuesday of this week, we played that number ordering game with the cards, and we put them in order. And you could play that with a family member at home anytime that you want. You could practice that any day. Yesterday, if you remember correctly, we made our number scrolls where we wrote, and I ended up finishing mine on my first page. We did as many as we could, and it was so awesome to see so many of your work. And today, we are going to be talking about number lines. Now, it's the same thing as what we've been doing. Number lines are just when we put those numbers in order. And sometimes number lines are nice and easy and they count by ones. Sometimes number lines might count by fives. Let's see if you could do this. 5, 10, 15. You were thinking 20, weren't you? So you can have number lines that sometimes have different patterns that you will recognize, and you can make those really tough patterns. In fact, I know some of you were talking about multiplication. That's like really just adding on and having different patterns of numbers. So for today, what we're going to do is you're going to need two things again. I would like you to have your math journal and a pencil, of course, always. I always forget to say that. That's an important tool, isn't it? A pencil. Pencils are better than pens because they erase, which is super important. I tend to be doing a lot of these lessons with pen just because they show up better on the screen, but it kind of makes me nervous because I'm so used to using pencils and being able to erase. So pencils are the way to go. So you're going to need your pencil and your journal. And the other thing you're going to want is your number scrolls, because I'm going to show you how to put those together today. For some of our mathematicians today, the activity is probably going to go pretty quickly. For other people, other mathematicians, it might take a little bit longer, and that's okay. You're going to work at your pace, because remember, the most important thing in math is that you get that answer right. So let's take a look at what you're going to be doing in your math journal. So here's your math journal, and if you open up to we're going to skip these pages here, the table of contents. The very first page, it's page 1 at the very bottom, right down here, it says page 1. This is the page we're going to be working on, and it says counts on a number line. And what they want you to do is you're going to fill in the missing numbers. So you have to think, and you're going to have to write them in. So what comes after 49? 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, and then they've put in 54 for us, so we don't need to write that. 55, 56, 57. So you're going to be writing in the different numbers, and they get hard fast. Now that you're in second grade, you'll notice, look at these numbers are already in the hundreds place. So I'm gonna write these in just so we can practice together before you do it on your own. So remember, these have 3 digits. We talked about that yesterday. 111, 112, 113, and they've done 114 for us. 115, 116, 117. So you can see that pattern happening. So you're going to be filling in these number lines. Now this one, my goodness, this one looks a little bit different because I can see these dashes. But if I went 72, what comes after 72? 72, 73. Wait a minute, that's not 74. Something's not quite right. So let me look at these dashes, because this one, maybe there could have been a line here. So I'm going to try that. So 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. So did you see what's happening here? So let's see this. 72, 73, this would be 74. This would be 75, 76, 77. What would this be? 78. Now, do you know what this is counting by? 72, 74, 76, 78, 80. Does that sound familiar? We counted every 1, 2, 1, 2. We're counting by twos. Do you remember learning about that? 2, 4, 6, 8. Look at that. 2, 4, 6, 8. Awesome. Now down here, they didn't give you any lines, but they want you to put a 5 underneath where it should go. I don't want to say anything else than that. I want you to try that on your own. So your first job, mathematicians, is to do this page. And if you finish this page before we call you back into our main Zoom room, you are going to be able to continue to work on the scroll papers that you did yesterday. But I also want to show you how you can put these scroll papers together. And in order to do that, you might need some tape or some glue, or a glue stick is my favorite, but I'm not in my classroom right now. I'm in my house. But that is what you're going to need. And I'm going to show you how you would put these together. So the first thing you need to do with these scroll sheets is you're going to kind of cut just the sides along like this. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. This is really important, the next pages actually. So I'm going to cut this one as neat as I can, like that. Now, this is the page that gets a little trickier. And you remember, you have a bunch of them. So I doubt you've filled them all out just yet, unless you went crazy, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So for this one, do you see where it says paste tape here? We do not want to cut that off. We're going to keep that there. So I'm going to put my thumb on it, and I'm going to cut on the sides here. This is important. And every year, by the way, someone does this wrong. So if for some reason you accidentally cut it off, don't worry, because you can always tape over it, or you can have one of your amazing adult helpers that's probably in your house right now help you with that. But if you do it correctly, this part's going to stay there. And what you would do then is you would take your glue stick or your glue, in my case, and you're gonna see if my glue might have been, you're gonna put some on there if it works, and if it doesn't, again, you can get some tape. And then you're gonna line those up. See if I can do it so it's really pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Remember how we talked about how all those numbers, look at all that, look at those twos. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's awesome. And then when you're done, I've told you this, remember? I had a kid who had like super long list. So that is how you can make those continue to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And again, later on, and I'll show you this next week, these are called scrolls, so you can scroll them up. And then it's like a cool like little scroll, like you might have seen like with knights and stuff. So for example, you would just go, oh, look at that, how long that gets. So today, just to review, the first thing you're going to do is your journal page with the number line, page 1. And when you finish that, start working on some more scrolls. You can, remember, you're going to write in all those numbers too. But if you have more than one sheet already, that's how you can put those together. All right. And I can't wait to see these, because we're going to be coming in to see how your journal page looks. We're going to be looking at those scrolls today, and I can't wait to see. I can just feel your math minds growing already. So you may go ahead, grab your math journals, and get started. But before that, we'll see if you have any questions. So have a great day.